Storm Dave swept across northern Europe in early April, leaving behind a trail of disruption, damage, and widespread recovery efforts. Beginning on April 4th, the storm first struck the United Kingdom before moving across Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, bringing powerful winds, dangerous conditions, and significant impacts to infrastructure and daily life. The storm initially prompted a yellow weather warning from the UK Met Office, which was later upgraded to an orange alert as conditions intensified. By the night of April 4th into the early hours of April 5th, Storm Dave reached its peak. Wind gusts were especially severe in exposed areas, with speeds reaching up to 93 miles per hour in Capel Curig and an even higher 98 miles per hour in North Stainmore. These intense winds caused widespread disruption across northern England. Fallen trees were among the most visible signs of the storm's force. In Newcastle upon Tyne, one tree blocked access to a petrol station, while in the Biker area, another caused damage to a residential property. In County Durham, a caravan was crushed, and in Manchester, a tree came dangerously close to falling onto a home where a child was inside, highlighting the real and immediate danger faced by residents. Power outages quickly spread across the region. Thousands of homes in Northumberland, Tyneside, and County Durham were left without electricity as strong winds damaged power lines and infrastructure. Public life was also disrupted. The Durham Cricket Stadium, known as Banks Homes Riverside, was closed to spectators for safety reasons. Meanwhile, a key route, the A66 between Bowes and Brough, was temporarily shut down due to hazardous conditions. By April 6th, conditions in the UK began to stabilize. Winds weakened and recovery efforts were already underway, with crews working to clear debris and restore power to affected communities. However, Storm Dave did not stop there. On April 5th, the system moved into Denmark, where it brought unusually severe weather for the time of year. According to meteorologists, this marked the first storm of this intensity recorded in April in Denmark in nearly 30 years. The northern region of Nordjylland bore the brunt of the impact, with wind speeds reaching between 35 and 36 meters per second. Emergency services across the region were inundated with calls reporting fallen trees, damaged roofs, and dangerous debris being carried by the wind. In some areas, infrastructure was directly affected. A road between Sindal and Göring had to be completely closed after debris made it impassable. The storm also caused structural damage in several towns. In Brundislev, a significant portion of an industrial building's roof was torn away. In Herning, authorities cordoned off a residential building due to fears of a potential roof collapse. Meanwhile, in Skøyen, part of a cemetery wall at Assistens Kirkegård was destroyed, and in Blokhus, a glass roof at a water park facility suffered damage. There were also unusual and isolated incidents. In the Lyngsø area, a tree fell onto a summer house, and in Lisgård, south of Viborg, hurricane-force winds were strong enough to topple a large decorative elephant sculpture. Transportation across Denmark was heavily impacted. Rail services north of Aalborg were suspended for several hours, and ferry routes between Aarhus and Zelvik were cancelled due to dangerous sea conditions. Authorities urged residents to avoid unnecessary travel as emergency crews worked to respond to incidents across the region. As the storm moved onward, southern Norway experienced some of its most intense impacts on April 5th. Authorities issued a red alert for the Rogaland and Agder regions, warning residents of extreme conditions. Cities including Kristiansand, Stavanger, and areas around Egersund were particularly affected. Wind gusts reached record-breaking levels for April, with speeds of 42.7 meters per second recorded in Eigeroy and 40.9 meters per second in Lindesnes. These powerful winds caused widespread disruption. More than 11,000 customers lost power, and while transportation networks were significantly affected, train services between Oslo and Gothenburg were suspended and multiple roads were closed.
Du kommer ju inte runt. Oj.
Air and sea travel were also disrupted. Flights were cancelled at Stavanger and Kristiansand airports, and ferry services were halted. Reports also emerged of damaged buildings and even boats sinking along the coast, underlining the severity of the storm's impact on coastal communities. By the time Storm Dave reached Sweden, it continued to cause major disruption, particularly in the western and southern regions. Gothenburg was among the hardest-hit areas, where hurricane-force winds brought down trees, damaged rooftops, and affected building facades. Emergency services received more than 300 calls within a 24-hour period.
og de ser godt en stikflamme komme ud, og den anden når at hoppe ud i vandet, og Edmund Hillary, han står faktisk.
Oh my god. Det er vist en nummer, det her. Nu ligger hele lort over i mig.
Sweden's transportation network was severely affected. Rail services from Gothenburg to major cities, including Stockholm, Malmö, and Karlstad, were completely suspended. Dozens of train services were cancelled, and replacement bus services were unable to handle the volume of stranded passengers. Public transportation systems also faced significant delays and interruptions. Road conditions gradually improved by the evening of April 6th, as crews worked to clear fallen trees and debris. However, congestion remained a challenge. At the peak of the storm, approximately 31,000 homes were without power. While that number later dropped to around 8,000, it highlighted the widespread scale of the disruption. Storm Dave serves as a reminder of how quickly severe weather systems can move across regions, affecting multiple countries within a short period of time. From damaged homes and disrupted transport to power outages and emergency responses, the storm tested infrastructure and preparedness across Northern Europe. As recovery efforts continue, authorities are urging communities to remain cautious and prepared for future extreme weather events. With changing climate patterns contributing to unusual storm activity, even outside typical seasons, resilience and readiness are becoming more important than ever. For those affected, the days ahead will focus on rebuilding and restoring normal life. And for the rest of us, Storm Dave stands as a powerful example of nature's force and the importance of staying informed, prepared, and safe.